These things happen. Um, I do not expect anyone to turn up today. So, last said about it yesterday, people tend to forget. I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. I am, however, quickly going to pop to the house and do something just so my. Let's do that. Just so that my figures do not completely tank. So, bear with me. I will be right back. And we are back. Where's that thing? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? So, hello, people. We are going to continue making this. I've reset the camera so it's slightly closer to the lathe now. So it's only sort of, I can't figure out how to tell you how far away from the lathe it is. And I need to turn the measuring bit on. I need to turn the heater on because I'm cold. Would help if the heater was plugged in. Oh, that's better. Right, so we are continuing to make the prototype for the new pocket pen, or the pocket pen. It's not new, it's just an adaptation of the old model. So this bit here, this hole here, and this tenon here are going to be made from copper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bore out a bit in here. I'm going to then fit a bit of copper in there, which is sort of a plug with sort of a 2mm ring around it. Then we're going to do the other end is going to be bored out very slightly, and we're going to have a bit of copper that's glued in there, so same sort of plug shape. And then we're going to put the threaded end on, which will match the hole on this end, so that you can do this, but instead of there being that horrible join, there'll be a flush join with copper. So that's the plan. And then once that's done, we'll make some kitty pens. So I'm going to use copper because copper is quite nice and easy to work with. It is relatively soft. I can't. As with metals, you tend to turn them a little bit slower than usual. So I'll probably end up turning this about 300-400 RPM rather than the usual 1,000 or so. But I don't imagine I'm going to need that much. I'll probably need most that. So that's all we're going to use at the absolute maximum that I can think of. No, actually, there'll be a bit more because I've got to fit in. So we're only going to do a small. We're not going to have that. I don't like the way that sticks out so much. So we're going to reduce the size of that tenon, probably by about 1 mil, maybe 2. So it'll be about half size. And we'll just see how we go with that. We're going to make the bits out of copper first before we start gluing them in, just to make sure the threads are okay. What I can do, in fact, is I've got another bit of copper here, so I could make the bit with the tenon, and I can make the bit with the hole separately, so that I can then screw them together and just make sure everything's working nice and smooth. I'll probably use a similar thread to this, just because it'll be nice and easy then. Now, what can I use to protect the threads when it's closed? That's the question. Now, I have before made a cap that goes over this bit that has a hole through it, so that you can dangle it from a chain or a cord or whatever. But how do I stop that from filling up with gunk? I could make a small cap out of the same material as the pen blank. because I've still got this amount of pen blank left. So I've got enough to make something to help that. Of course, that wouldn't be part of the pen itself, so it won't add to the length. There would just be options that you can put on. So first things first, I'm going to mark where the holes are on the resin so I know how far I'm going to be playing with. I'm going to then turn a tenon and thread it on here. I'll probably end up going, hang on, let's have a look, let's see how big this is. So that's 6mm. I know 4mm works, so I'll probably go to 4mm. Tenon there. So we'll turn this down to 4mm and we'll drill a hole, matching hole, and we'll thread it in that and we'll test it. I'm just thinking, is that the best way to do it? Probably. We'll turn it down to size first. So this is going to be one of those rare occasions where you'll see me wear glasses. I hate wearing glasses. But when it comes to metal, I will always wear glasses because I've had metal in my eyes before now and it hurts like hell. We've got 1632 there, and we want to get it down to 15. So I'm going to turn a bit off here to make it down to 15. We'll get rid of that nubbly bit. So we shave off about 1/2 mil at a time. I've only got to go down a mil and a bit. So that's 15.9. So I need to take off about 9 mil. Not 9 mil, 15.9, 0.9 mil. So 400. See, I always go by the finish that I can feel with my finger, whether they're turning at the right speed or not. So this is getting quite a smooth finish now, so that's probably the right speed. It's a bit quicker than I thought it would be. So 0.4, I need to go 0.2 on the machine. That's about right. Zero that, zero that. So now we need a tenon that is about, what, 9.7, 9.6. So we need to take off about 5 mils worth. I'm going to go 4 mils each. There we go, there's 4 mil. We'll go back to 0 and we'll just get rid of that lip. It's 13.4. Hello. Yeah, I should. I really should. Thank you for reminding me. I always forget to do something. Thank you. I'll take a book, please. So this is the bit that will take the longest amount of time. Sometimes feel like you're getting nowhere. That's fine. So that's exactly 10. We zero that. So I need to go 0.4, 0.3 inch. We go there. Yep. So what we'll do is we'll quickly thread that. What I might do as your I bet you're in Scotland, aren't you? I can never remember where people are. Oh, Midlands. Okay. Right. So we're just going to turn. These are going to be the same threads that you'll find in there. So all the barrel threads for the sections are going to be the same thread as this. Just because if I use all the same threads for everything, then it just speeds things up. Right, so that's the threaded part of that. Let's just check those. Right, so that's how it's going to end up threading on. So they say in engineering that 2 threads or 2 turns is fully threaded on, I believe. So let's use that bit as a 1, 2, 2.5. So I'm happy with that part of it. So this is going to sit on the end of the cap like that, and there's going to be a little bit of an exposed ring. So there's going to be a bit carved out there for it to fit into, and it's just going to be glued in. And then this side we are going to bore out a bit deeper for that to thread into. Now what I haven't thought of is, because I need to make the part that goes into, might need to make this thinner, because that's got to screw into there. So I'm going to have a bit of material. So if I make that, what this is, what, 15? Yeah, it's 15. This is 9. So it's going to be 10mm threads in there. Which leaves me only 2.5mm each side. So I'll make that 11.1 hole. I have to go from there and see what happens. But we only have to make that hole 4 mil deep. So we'll start by doing that. I try to send out so many. Whether I succeed or not, it's debatable. So again, we'll turn a similar amount on this, about that. Get this down to 15, which is currently 19, so 4 mil up there. It's going to be 2 mil off the measuring bit. So 0, there it is. Try turning it 1,000. So that's the right speed. That speed is 1050. Right, I'm going to have to work out some maths in a minute. I've just been thinking about it, and the way I'm going to have to do this is turn this bit down to the diameter of the hole that I'm going to make in the pen, drill from the other end, so then I can build in the lip. So I've changed things up a bit. It should be interesting anyway. If it works, it'll look really cool. Whether it'll work, I want to make the copper wall as thin as possible, so that it's not as heavy. and then I'll start testing it. And what I'll do is I'll fill it up with water, and I'll hang it upside down just to see if it leaks, and I'll put a cup under it and see if it leaks. And if it leaks, it's not the end of the world, because it'll just be a case of getting some silicone grease and just applying it to all the threads. Right, so that is now at the right diameter. So I'm going to switch back to the pen itself. I'm going to use a bright pen, not the brown, because the brown doesn't show up. Where's my orange gone? Oh, lost my orange. No, it won't touch the ink. Not at all. There'll be a skin of resin between the ink and the metal. Mainly because some metals react badly with ink, and I do not have the know-how to figure out what does and what doesn't. Right, so the end of our hole. So stop dropping things and fumbling around. Take a sip, playing the drinking game. Almost 52.24 deep. It comes in at there. So that is the end of the inside of this mark. So this side is the end of the hole. I will drill out to a maximum of that. So there will be a thickness of that white mark between the metalwork and the. If I do my trick of shining it down there, you can see where it goes dark there. That's where the hole ends. Where did I put the lid? I swear I would lose my mind. Oh, there's the orange one. I would lose my brain if it wasn't plugged into my head. There it's there. Huh. Right, so we've got 4mm here. That needs to go in there. So we could probably shave off 2mm off the end of this pen and still be safe, because then it would only come down to about there. But we want a bit of leeway. So what I'll do is I shall drill into this with an 11mm drill bit. That should give us plenty of room for the copper. Oh, I'm really not. Most of my pen making is guesswork. At the beginning, I have no idea if it's going to work or not. It's going to be a game of find the drill bit. It's not there. I wonder if it's under here. 11.1. I'll just stab myself with a fountain pen nib. Really hurt. Okay, so this is where I need to get a bit of measuring kit out. I said I was not I said I was not precise. However, I do have one of these. So what I'll do, right, so measure this. I've got precisely 11 millimeters to play with. And I can put that there. Turn this on. And I shall zero it. So what this does, you can't actually see it. I'll move the camera so you can see what's going on. You see this says 0. That says 0. This is a static thing. This won't move whilst this is going on. So as I turn that, I should probably 0 it there because that's where, actually, no, I'm going to 0 it there. So I want to drill into here about 10 mil. So hopefully I'll have enough travel on this. Yep. So I've got 13 mil of travel on this. So I should be able to drill in 10 mil. There. There we go. So after saying I'm not precise, I then go and do something like that. So if I shine this light down here again, there's the dark bit there, that goes in, and that this hole goes down to about there. Could go a bit deeper. Depends if we want to knock off any of the... Yeah, we'll go a bit deeper. And back to guesswork. Not so much guesswork, so I shined in the light down the barrel so I could see where it was drilling out to. So we've got our deepest part of that hole. It's just above the white line. We've got the deepest part of this hole just below the white line. See you later. So now we can create the plug. We only need the plug to go in about 5 mil. So what we'll do, do we have anyone's watching this? Say hello in the chat so I know you're there. So I have a bunch of names on the users in chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people in chat apparently. But you're not showing up as viewers, so I'm guessing you've got your sound turned down, which is fine. I would probably be the same. Right, so this needs to go down to 11.9. If we go down 4.19, go down to 6. So there you go. So that fits exactly in there. That is exactly the right width. What I need to do now is cut that off so I've got the lip. I'll then flip it round, drill it out, make sure that it fits onto there. And we'll see where we go from there. So once I've done this, we'll log off for the day because I'm doing a stream tomorrow. I still need to find out what time. Something I forgot to do yesterday. I'll do 1.5 bands. It's because 2 mil is a little bit too chunky. 1.5 bands. So this is the fitting. So I plug that in there. I'm not going to plug it in there because I won't be able to get it back out again. But this is the fitting that goes in there. So that's going to be filled up with glue once it's size. And that's going to screw into there. Which is what we're going to do now. So 9mm hole. Thread it with the what I've forgotten to do is measure the piece so we know how much we've got to play with. So 7.5mm, so if we drill in about 6, we'll thread it, and that should be enough threads for the thing to engage with. So there's a 9mm drill bit. Got 9mm travel on that. That's 6mm drilled in. It's very close. It's not too heavy even. In fact, I might actually put a scale in there. So that's 4.7 grams, just to give you a example. The pen itself, when it's put together with the nib, it's 10 grams. And with the cap, wherever I put the cap, what have I done with it? I've gone and lost me cap. Well, seriously, where on earth has that gone? There's my extra spare bit. There's my checker. Ah, there it is. With the cap as well. It's 16 grams, so it's probably going to be about 24 grams to be all in all. So we should be able to shave a bit off of this. The length of the pen won't be as long. And what we'll do is we shall adapt the length of the tenon to the length of this. And just hope that we get enough threads in there. So I don't think we're going to. I don't think that's gone deep enough. Which is a pain. Which means I'm going to have to remake this one, but make that deeper. So we can actually get some threads in. Now what I can do is drill through the entire thing. Which is something I didn't particularly want to do. But this is only the prototype, so we can do that. We'll do that for this one. And I'll think on it and see whether I can change it for the next one. But at the moment, that seems to be the best fix. Because then what we can do is we can just thread through the entire thing. Of course, that does get rid of a bunch of weight off of the back end. And what we can do is we can make it short so that it's exactly that length. Because we don't need as much of this material at the back, so it makes it lighter. So we only need, see, that fits on that really well. But as you can see, there is a load of wasted material here, which we don't need, which we can turn off. Or 5. Oh no, the threads are knackered. No, I'm going to have to make a new piece. But I like that. I now like that. I know I said I didn't, but I now like that. That's the cap. So it's going to look like that from the end. It's all right. I like it. I don't know why that's threaded. It's not those that are threaded, is it? Double check, make sure those threads are all right. No, those threads are fine. It's definitely that thread that's gone. So maybe because that'll just leave a load of extra material. Drill through it. Let me see. So it threads in that way. It's fine. So those threads gone. Will it thread in that way? Can I do it backwards? Ha ha ha! Right, I have a plan. So we are going to drill this out. First of all, drill and thread it. I'm going to drill it all the way through. I'm then going to turn down the bit that I need to turn down. We are then going to cut it to get that shape. And we're going to go from there and see what happens. We should be able to get a better fit as well. And then we'll be able to cut this pen down to about there. So it's even shorter. That's a plan. I like this plan. This plan works. And then we've just got to sort that out. That's going to be easy. This bit, all we've got to do is cut the... Make sure we come in about 1.5 mil. Cut the... cut a bit in there to about 11 mil. So we're working out the difference between that and what I need to go in. And then we cut the rest of it. And then we've got an already made tenon to then be glued into the pen. That's the plan. So this is why I tend to make prototypes before, well, rather than making drawings and things, because I can always make drawings of anything really. It's just doing it this way means I figure out the problems. In production as I'm doing it. got a little bit of a wobble on this, so I'm just going to check. Make sure that is. Why is that not fitting? So something's going wrong with these threads. Don't quite know what it is. See, that thread's fine. That thread's fine. Okay, so those threads are rubbish. So we'll abandon that side. Pretty sure I know why. It's because that wasn't spinning right. So that is now spinning right. So we shall try again this end. That bit of copper won't go to waste. Did I use the right? Might have used the wrong. So that's definitely the 9. So what we'll do is we'll go in this side. Same plan. Try this one. That's more than enough. Feeling these are going to be bad as well, but we shall see. They'll still get used. I mean, these bits of copper, I'll just drill them out further, and what I'll do is make something else with them. But okay, so that's promising. That works all right. Works all right. So what we can do, because there's always some threads on the outside that are a bit different because of the way the tap is. We'll just turn this down. Threads are all right. There's a little bit of a wobble at the end of the thing, but this short distance is not going to be much. Okay, so we want to go into the end of that white mark. So curiosity, it's going to be the same as this. So that's where it's drilled out to. So we're going to end up going down to about there. So we're going to shave off about 1.5 mil of this pen. I'm probably going to end the stream about 3 o'clock because no one's really engaging. Probably get the shaping of this done and it all in place, ready for gluing. A little bit too tight, so we'll just shave a tiny bit of skin off that. That's better. Make sure that is flush all the way around. Yep. Right, we are getting somewhere after a little setback. We've threads that didn't work. We are finally making headway. So that last bit was 20 grams. So this is all the same dimensions as the last bit. All that's happened is I've drilled all the way through. Go. Apparently it's 2.7 grams now. So that's what it's going to look like on the end of the pen. That's what it's going to look like on the inside. Just make sure that the threads are still good. Right, so I'm going to have to just do a little divot in there with the boring bar, just so that the threads engage to the full amount, which isn't a problem. It's a standard manoeuvre. And then what we'll do is we'll just run the tap through there again. Rather than risk ruining the threads, I'm going to see if the thread's in properly enough first, if I can find where I've put the barrel. Not barrel, the other piece. Always nervous about ruining threads, particularly after making up one of these pieces. Hopefully this will still work. I haven't ruined them. No, thank God. So this is where we can just shave off a little bit from the back end. That'll do. That's more than enough taken off. Right. So we are now at 2.2 grams. For this bit. So with a pocket pen, weight is always a constant thing you need to be careful of. do. That's close enough. So there we go. What we'll do is we'll put a little bit of epoxy on the bottom to make it shiny. Leave that to cure. We'll then glue the rest of this bit in. We could use the epoxy just so that's all glued in one piece. But the epoxy will melt when that heats up when we're sanding. So we might use a different glue on gluing this bit in and use epoxy on the bottom. But as a prototype, that looks pretty snazzy. So now we've just got to do the cap. Now, where's the hole in the cap? So the cap's not going to be taken down. All we're going to do is going to bore out. I'm going to drill out a little bit here using a small drill that I can then extend the drill hole with the boring bar. So we'll just bring that in. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll just touch this in. Like that. And what I might do, this is the 11. I'll use that as a guide for the boring bar. So 10.87. So what we'll do is we shall, if I can find it, measure this, take a reading off that. We'll turn the thing in so that it should be 10.8. And what we'll do is we'll sort of turn could use the other bit. Could get the other tool out, so we've got flat edge on that side. I don't use this tool very often, but this tool is for getting a flat edge on this side. So we'll bring this out a bit more so we've got enough playroom. So it's going to be about there before we hit any of the... Take this bit off. And what we'll do is we'll set the 0 on the measuring bit that measures that way to 1.5 to a 1.5 ring. Zero. Zero. So now we can go back to, say, here. And we can just start turning from there. So we get to 0. We want that bit to be 2.8, sorry, 10.8. Right, okay, so that is now to size. We'll keep that spinning. Change tools. Right, so this is where I need a measurement for the cap. .89. Go 1.8. Snag in a minute now. Okay. Okay, so occasionally the parting tool will get gummed up with copper because it's so soft. There we go. So this should fit once I've gotten rid of this little nubbly bit. So there we go. That's what it looks like compared to that. It's a bit shorter, holds the same amount of ink, and then when it's in the other configuration, I've just dropped a bit. As I was saying, when it's in the other configuration, it will look like that. Right, so that's where we're going to leave it today. Thank you for watching. Hello to anyone on YouTube, and I shall see you next week, or maybe Saturday, because I am streaming on Saturday. Not sure what time yet. It'll be in the morning. All right, take care. Bye bye.